Hello, Space Raptor for Space Raptor Gaming. I'm going to try and keep this really short, as short as I can. Got a couple of pickups. Hey, right, got this for £1. Spirit of Speed, 1937. Basically, it's an historical racer. Formula One racing from 1937. It got slagged off at the time for all kinds of stupid reasons, like somebody said, "Oh, I don't like the tracks in it." Oh, they're authentic 1937 tracks. What can you do about that? And I personally, as a racing game enthusiast, get sick of driving around modern day Silverstone. There's only so many times I can do it, so this is like a breath of fresh air for that. Somebody else mentioned the car handling. Well, if you drove a 1937 Formula One car, I can imagine handling was pretty abysmal in them cars. So I think they were trying to keep with authentic handling. Now, one of the criticisms I will keep up on this is the fact that the frame rates are that slow on it that it feels like you're doing 30 miles an hour, and it's not quite in keeping with the name Spirit of Speed. You're supposed to be doing 187 miles an hour. I'd like to see more of a sense of speed out of it. And I think there's a missed opportunity in this game because nowhere in any notes, there's no notes you can collect for doing challenges and that. Not that I've opened up so far. Whereas it tells you about the history of all the tracks that they put in the game, and maybe some of the history of the cars, because there's interesting cars in this. There's an Alfa Romeo that was actually designed by Ferrari, and there was another Alfa Romeo that was designed by Porsche before they made their own companies. So some really exciting stuff in here. I'm very pleased I got it for £1. The other thing that I really like about it is this is a full-on sim, and you don't get many of them on console. And basically, there's fuel degradation in it, so you've got to think about pit stopping for fuel, because obviously these cars were really fuel heavy, so every few laps you're literally stopping for a pit stop, and I can imagine that was the same with the real car, so you're having to think about that to win the race as well. And also tyre degradation, because you were running on concrete, not tarmac, and concrete was a really abrasive on rubber, so basically they were running out of tyres at a rate of knots as well, so all that's actually in the game. So there was a lot they did right. Now, Broadsword Interactive that did this also made the Unity engine, so that's their brainchild. So these are a highly successful developer, and for them to get rubbished at the time, and there's also a lot of people panning this on YouTube. And again, when I see a developer being lazy, I'll be the first person to go, do you know something? You're not on. You're trying to charge people £40 for absolute garbage, and I'm not having it. You know what I mean? But I suppose I've got in reflection to the price I paid for this, to the amount of fun I've had out of it, done deal, you know what I mean? I've had my fun out of it now. If I never played it again, and I will, in fact, I want to do a little bit of a feature with my YouTube video with it, maybe doing a bit of a racing history kind of thing where I can use the game and use gameplay. I think if I can do that in an interesting and entertaining way, we're on one. I think I've got something there. The other thing as well is I picked up a brand new Dreamcast game, and it was NDK2. Now, this was developed in 2000, but this is a new copy of the game, that's what I mean. And I got this for about £7. I got £20 birthday money, so basically don't think I just buy games all the time. After that, well, I've already spent up to £20. I've still got 2 games in the post ready to come. I just got them. I just wanted to add to my Dreamcast collection, so the other 2 are Dreamcast games that are coming. I'll show you them when I actually get them. So I'm excited to be playing these at the moment, and I'm excited to be playing the Dreamcast. One of the things I've realised is just how easy modern day games are, and I'm just so shocked because these are games I got quite far in originally, and I used to complete games back then, and yeah, I just actually thought naturally I was getting quicker at completing games. No, not at all. Out of a modern title, I can bang it off in a week, easy. And if I'm really steaming into it, I can sometimes have the game done within the day, or at least I start it one day and finish it another. And yeah, I can really bang through titles, but these games, there's no way I can bang through them that quick. And I'm getting months and months of gameplay out of one title. When you consider Sega Rally, which is something that I got given with that Dreamcast, basically that's a ferociously hard game, and you got to put some real dedication into learning the handling model to ever get anywhere in the game. And basically, I've been playing that off and on for about 4 days now, and I'm nowhere near completing year one in it, and there's 10 years. Basically, then there's 10 cars to do them 10 years with, and then there's the arcade mode, and then there's the time attack mode, and then there's another 10 unlockable cars in it, which you can then go through and do it all again. So there's literally months and years worth of gameplay out of that, and I can literally hammer out a driving game. I have done this. I knocked out a Need for Speed game in a day, and it's like, and that's a fairly modern title, and it was like, and literally I'd hammered it to, and I'd more or less seen everything it had to offer, that game. And with less cars and less tracks, there was more gameplay in something like Sega Rally. And MDK2 is a hardcore third-person shooter. Although it's a funny game as well, it's tongue-in-cheek humour. At its core, it's a hardcore game, and I suppose I would have considered myself up to recently a hardcore gamer. Now I feel like I'm a casual gamer, because these games are really challenging me now. And if I start completing these, I can have my hardcore title back. But no, I'm not a hardcore gamer. I'm a soft, squishy gamer these days, and I've been too used to modern games. And seriously, some of the hardest games I've ever played are on the Dreamcast. I wouldn't even say the SNES. The SNES and the N64, I still find them games quite engaging, quite comfortable, quite easy. There are some exceptions, like Legend, for instance. That's still a quite hardcore game. And there are games on these systems that are hardcore, but it seems every game you get on the Sega Dreamcast is a hardcore game, and I'm kind of I've been apart from Soul Calibur, because I'm quite good at fighting games, so I've been getting through that one quite quickly, if I'm honest. And I've been enjoying that, and I already know half the fighting moves in it, because I've been playing a lot of Soul Calibur 2, but I haven't played the original Soul Calibur in so long. So I'm still going back through that. So I'm finding I can get through that one quite quickly, but everything else, not a chance. I really haven't. But I'm enjoying myself. And when I was talking to BrickGamer73, and he said, "Well, do you know why I've got back into retro gaming?" I said, "Well, because you like retro games." He went, "No, actually, it's just because it's better value for money. You're getting more gameplay for less money than you're getting out of modern games." And I kind of went, "Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you." Because you're getting months and years without a gaming out of one game on, say, a retro system, and modern titles you can have them banged out in 5 hours. What was it? I can't even remember the game. The Order, 1887. There was a big scandal, 5.5 hours. I know he was a speed runner and everything, but I think if you take your time in that game, it's an 8-hour game. You can have it boxed off in a day. 2 days if you do 2 4-hour sessions, or You know, if you casually play it at 2 hours an hour in the morning, an hour at night, you can have that game boxed off in 4 days. And yeah, I know there's different difficulty settings and everything that you can go through that maybe challenge you, but I mean, these games are so rock hard. They even on easy, they're saying you cannot see the rest of this game until you get good and you've put some time into this game. And it's kind of, I suppose it's mean, but a lot of them were arcade titles and they were designed mean so that you could put your 50p's or your pounds into the arcade machine. And they were ported directly over to the Dreamcast because obviously Sega were an arcade developer more than they were. They just got into the home console market, and they're still a hardcore arcade developer. So basically, you've got a lot of arcade ports there, and arcade games are for the hardcore, and probably only the hardcore, and I'm not one of them, and basically I'm getting my ass kicked on a regular basis, but I'm finding it a challenge, and I am enjoying it. Anyway, I'm going to box this off now. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you getting sick of AAA titles these days, getting a bit too soft and squishy and more for casual gamers than more for hardcore gamers? I think there's a distinct lack of hardcore titles out there, and when there is a hardcore title, it's usually way over the top, too difficult, even more difficult than the retro games. So there's no kind of real balance there. You've only got maybe one or two of them. But tell me what you think in the comments below, and give this a thumbs up if you actually enjoyed it. I will see you next time, and next time I probably will have a gameplay video coming up very shortly. These have been very convenient for me because of the things we've had challenges within the family to deal with, and it's kind of this has been a convenient fix for kind of still wanting to do my YouTube videos, but kind of talking about gaming rather than just putting gameplay video up. And I will still keep this format, but I want to do more with the gameplay as well, and I've got loads and loads of ideas that I'd like to start implementing. Some of them I can't because I haven't quite got the tools yet, but once I can figure out how I can get some capture going of Spirit of Speed, I've actually thought of emulating it so I can actually put it on YouTube, because as long as I own a copy of the game, I think I'm legally entitled to download an ISO or whatever it is, but a downloadable copy of the game, because I actually own the game. I don't think that's considered piracy at all, so I don't want to get into any legal wranglings with this, you know what I mean? If I do play an emulation of a game, it's only for convenience to be able to share that with you guys. Maybe I can do a run through of MDK, for instance, and I would have to emulate it, because for me to actually do it from the console, it's going to cost me about £100, and it's £100 I just haven't got. And I don't make money on YouTube. I don't do YouTube for making money. So basically I'm not willing to put that kind of money into equipment so as I can record gameplay from these retro systems. But I have got a PC. I can capture that with my capture card. I can emulate, as long as I own a copy of the game. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. If anybody actually knows out there whether that is true or whether that's correct or whether it's still deemed as piracy, because I don't want anything to do with game piracy. I buy all my games. I buy them cheap, but I buy them. You know what I mean? I keep it legal. I think the development teams have had money out of these titles that I'm buying at some point. So basically, yeah, maybe I'm not exactly supporting the gaming industry, but when the gaming industry is offering me titles at £40, and then I'm having to put in-game purchases in there to get the full getting the full enjoyment out of that game. I don't consider that a deal. Like, I consider that a rip-off, and I'm not really wanting to get ripped off. This is why I'm kind of going backwards, because I'm finding more innovation in games going backwards than I am going forwards at the moment. And I just got a little bit stale and a little bit bored with what I was playing, and this is just kind of breaking it up for me, and it's been fresh and exciting. So that's why I'm hitting a little bit of retro at the moment. I'm not what you call a hardcore retro player. I enjoy modern titles as well, but I don't see any value for money at the moment. But there are still some games from about 2 or 3 years ago that I haven't experienced, and to be honest, on PC, and I know my PC can run it, and I'm gonna still be doing that. You know what I mean? But in these modern titles, I'm seeing these microtransactions creeping in and in. At the moment, a lot of AAA titles on PC are minimum spec i7, and it's like, who's got a minimum spec of i7? Most gamers run i5s anyway, so it's like I don't quite understand what's going on. And another thing I'm noticing is when you're buying games at the moment. I know one game I've got, Evil Within, it's riddled with bugs, and it's not very well optimised for PC, nor at all. So basically, yeah, I struggle with that. It's even riddled with bugs on the Xbox 360 edition, and that's inexcusable, I'm sorry. And then you got Assassin's Creed Unity that came out, that was riddled with bugs, and you got Master Chief Collection, that was riddled with bugs, and then I bought Battlefield 4, and that was unplayable when you bought it. They've since fixed it since, but too little too late as far as I'm concerned. So it's just basically, I kind of fell out with modern gaming, if I'm honest. So I kind of would prefer to buy slightly more worn-in titles that I know if there's any issues with them, rather than buying new games, because new games, there's no value in it, no value to me at the moment. So I'm kind of staying away from that kind of side of gaming at the moment, and I'm more with the retro and maybe retro PC and stuff like that, and I enjoy that. But you tell me what you think in the comments, and give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.